This is page 63 in our notes. We skipped a page in between here. We're going to be moving into geometry. So this is CFA 7 notes. This will be on geometry 1, 2, 3, and 4 for our standards. My colors today are black and purple. We are going to be going over geometry 1 and geometry 4. By starting with a review on perimeter, and then we'll get into area, and area is more the standard for geometry 1 and geometry 4. So these are our notes. We're going to do some examples. First off, we're going to talk about perimeter and what we know about perimeter. When asked about perimeter, we think about adding up all the sides, so going around an object. Add up all sides. We talk about to go around something. You could measure in units. You could measure it in centimeters, in feet, or inches. You don't square it or cube it. That's area and volume. What are examples of perimeter? Some examples you might see in story problems would be like building a fence, because a fence normally goes around someone's property. A border around a bulletin board are normally examples you see with perimeter. The first example that I want to give you in here, and I'm going to trace this down too, and then trace the blue lines over, looks something like this. And in purple, I'm going to tell you the top is 10 feet and the left is 5 feet. That's all I'm going to give you for this particular problem. The question is going to say, how many feet of fence would I need here? How many feet of fence would I need? So you got to figure out fence, what I need, and so like we're adding all the sides together. It's the outside, it's the perimeter. So a couple things here. We've got the outside. You think perimeter. I never asked for perimeter in this problem, but you should be thinking perimeter, which means add up all sides. So if you're going to add up all sides, you could go ahead and write in here that I know the bottom's 10 feet since the top's 10 feet, and I know the right's 5 feet since the left's 5 feet. And if you're adding your 10 plus your 10 plus your 5 plus your 5, you're going to get 30 feet of fence. And I labeled it because I asked how many feet of fence I would need. So I would need 30 feet of fence. I'm going to draw a line right on this blue line to save as much paper. So I'm going to need that next space here. The next example, example 2, I'm going to give you a length. That is a L in cursive, and a width, that's a W in cursive. The length I will give you 6 centimeters, and the width I will give you 4 centimeters. And I'm giving you a length and a width, and I'm asking for what is the perimeter, question mark. So what do you know based on the information I gave you? I didn't give you a picture. Could you draw a picture? 6 and 4. A lot of people are thinking, oh, 6 and 4, that's a rectangle. What do we know about a rectangle? 2 sides are the same, and the other 2 sides are the same. Like your lengths are both the same, your width are both the same. So I know if I'm finding perimeter, I got to add 6 plus 6 plus 4 plus 4, and that would equal 20. And I'm going to label this centimeters because this particular problem was asking, and it gave you centimeters. Another way to think about that, some people know that I have 2 6s, so they would take 6 times 2, which equals 12. And then they would take, since I'm going to have 2 4s, 2 widths, 4 times 2, which is 8, and then just add their 12 and they're 8 together, you can still get 20 centimeters. So you could solve it either way for that one. We're going to trace this blue line. We're going to do another example. Example 3. So this is going to be not a picture, it's going to be a word problem. I've got a square. So right now you should be thinking square. What do I know about a square? Has a side length of 5 centimeters. And I'm asking, what is the perimeter? Question mark. So you should know a square, all sides are the same. So all sides are going to equal 5 centimeters. And if I were to draw a square here, all sides are the same. All sides I could label 5 centimeters. And I'm asking for the perimeter, so I'm adding up all those sides. 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. That equals 20 centimeters is my label. Some people think about a square and they don't take 5 times 5 length times width. They take 5 times 4 because there are 4 sides on a square and each side is 5. So that also gives you 20 centimeters. Another way to think about that. The only thing you can't do is take 5 times 5, like length times width. That is not correct for perimeter. That's actually how you find area. All right, I'm going to draw another line and do another example here. All right, example 4. I want you to pay attention how I draw this. I'm going to leave this space right here available. So I'm going to draw on this blue line about that far over. And then I'm going to come down 2 blue lines on the right. And then I'm going to go over not quite as far as I just went, about like that, maybe just a little further over. Come down 3 blue lines, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to come all the way back tracing this blue line so that this should be straight up when I come up here. So let's try to make this straight. We may have to add this one just to make it straight. So there's a few things I'm going to give you on this particular example, and then there's a few you're going to be able to figure out. So I'm going to give you the top and say that is 10 inches. I'm going to give you this right here going down is 4 inches. Going over here is 5 inches. And going down this is 6 inches. And that is all I'm going to give you. Is I drew the example in black and I've given you the numbers in black. In other words, I'm asking, what is the perimeter? I want to know what is the perimeter. So how would I find the perimeter? You have to add up all the sides. Well, they didn't give me the sides over here, but they did over here. So how could I find the other sides here to find the perimeter? Some people can kind of see, like, you could kind of make this going down. Some people can kind of see making this go over to help. We know this top's 10, so we know this bottom would be 10. We know this dimension right here is 5, so this would be 5. So you could figure out, oh, well, all together that makes this 15 inches on the bottom. You could do the same thing with this side. What do I know about the first 2 lines? I saw that over here. The first 2 were 4. And I knew the next 3, same as over here, were 6. And 4 and 6 makes 10 inches for the left. So how do I find the perimeter? You need to make sure you're adding the bottom, the left, the top, this coming down, this going over, and this here, so that you can add each side. So 15, if I start here, plus 10, plus this 10, plus the 4, plus the 5, plus the 6. I should have all of my sides there. And that total should give us 50. We label it inches. You do not square it or cube it or anything like that. The last example I'm going to squeeze on here. I'm going to make this over here because I've got a little room right here. So that's where I'm going to do my last example. Example 5. I'm going to go 2 lines down, 2 lines over, down again, and then make it look almost identical over here. Okay. So hopefully it looks like 2 squares. So I am going to give you this top right here is 4 inches going from this line right here over to the middle. It is 4 inches here in the middle going from top to bottom. And then this one is 4 inches from the middle over to the left. So those are the only 3 dimensions I'm giving you. They are all 4 inches. And I'm asking what is the perimeter? And I want to see if you can figure that out. What you know about the bottom, the top's also 4. What you know about this top, the bottom's also 4. The middle's 4, so that means the right's 4 and the left is 4. And perimeter we know is going around, so you're just going to add up all the numbers out here. Do we need the number in the middle? Well, we needed it to help us identify our outside numbers, but we don't need it when we're calculating perimeter. So you would just have to label, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 inch. So that would give us 24 inches for the perimeter. Some people think 28 because they need that extra 4, but they don't need that.